We're gonna do my full face of full coverage makeup together. I have a ton of redness and freckles that I like to cover up, and then I did just get my hair done, so we also have some black color that we need to conceal as well. I'm gonna start off with my Tula Filter Primer, 2 pumps of that in the shade Luna. I've been going back and forth between foundations, and I've been using this Armani one and also the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. This one's gonna give me more full coverage, but this it feels good on the skin. So I think we're gonna do this, and I use about 5 pumps. I put mine on with a damp sponge. I feel like this just works better. I've tried using a brush with it and I just didn't really like the application. It has a good amount of coverage, but this one you're still gonna be able to see some freckles. For cream bronzer, I've been using the Dibs Duo Stick in the shade 5.5. Now sometimes I will just draw this on my face and then blend it in with the brush, but for today I'm gonna do more of like the sculpted look because I am gonna be filming, and so I use a sponge. I don't even get this wet. I use a sponge and then I just dip onto it and then place my contour or bronzer where I want it to be, and I feel like that just like makes it a little bit more precise. Also take some product and put it on the sides of my forehead, but I don't put it at the top. Now if you have a larger forehead, you may want to put it at the top, but mine's pretty small, so I just kind of keep it on the sides. Also use this for my nose, but it's super creamy. I honestly don't really love it for my nose, but it's what I have, so it's what I use. I put it on the tip and then I put it down the sides as well, and then I'll clean up any mess that I make with concealer. And then for concealer, I'm gonna use the Hourglass Vanish, I believe. It's in the shade Birch, and then I place it here. I like quite a bit of concealer and I like it to be pretty light. That's not gonna be for everyone. And I'm gonna place it down my nose, right here, and here. Then I blend it with my damp beauty blender. I used to use just like basic blenders, and now this is the only one I want to use. It actually is so good. I didn't think it was worth the like 20 bucks, but it is. When I'm blending my concealer, I kind of take it and drag it down my nose too, and that kind of fixes all of the mess that I made with the contour. The hardest part of my entire makeup routine is choosing blush. This one is the Charlotte Tilbury and it gives me the best glow, but then this one is just like the prettiest pink, and it's the Rare Beauty in the shade Happy. So I think today we're just gonna mix these two. A lot of people complain about this applicator and say that it's messy. I really think it's fine and people just like to complain. The Rare Beauty is super pigmented, so I just use like a couple of dots. Sometimes I use this little brush to blend it out. Sometimes I use the end of my beauty blender. It's just whatever I'm feeling. Both work well, and it doesn't pick up my foundation. I put on quite a bit of blush, but I'm gonna cover it up with powder, so you kind of need that much. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Wand thing. It's a highlighter. I really like this one. I like to blend this one with my fingers though, because I feel like when I use the brush, it does pick up the product that's underneath. And then for my under eyes, I set them after I do all of my other cream products. I just go in and like press in, make sure that I'm not gonna set any creases. And then I take my Huda Beauty loose powder. This one's in the shade Sugar Cookie. And then I go in and just press up underneath my eyes and then drag it down by my nose. Here is it with powder and then without. I'm only going in with a little bit of powder when I first set it, and then I will bake afterwards. And for my whole face, I use the Huda Beauty, but in the shade Cupcake, I believe, and I just press it in with a fluffy brush. You don't really have to set the Armani foundation because it feels just like your skin, which is really nice, but I do get oily when it's warmer outside, so I like to set everything. And then for powder bronzer, I'm going in with the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder Palette in this shade right here. It's basically gone. And then a fluffy bronzer brush. I just like to add this over top, just like a more bronzed look after I powder everything. And because I have a round face shape, whatever I have left on this brush, I just go straight down right here and hope that I don't have a double chin. For powder blush, I'm using this tiny one. It's Half Caked in Bloom Freshly Squeezed. I've been using this thing for a year and it just isn't running out, and it's the prettiest like peachy coral color. I add a little bit to the tip of my nose too, and kind of over for that like sun-kissed look. To carve out my like contour line, I go back in with the Huda Beauty in the shade Sugar Cookie, which is the lightest one, and just kind of create a line right here, and then I'll brush away all the excess. I'll also go in and just add some powder right here and let that sit on either side of my nose, and then brush everything off at the end. For highlight, I'm using the Rare Beauty. This one is so pigmented, it's gonna last me like my entire lifetime. It's in the shade Exhilarate, and like literally tiny bit needed. I'm just going with a fluffy eyeshadow brush, and we're gonna glow all day. Put some down my nose as well, and then underneath my eyebrows. I go back with my fluffy brush and kind of just brush off all that excess powder. And for brows, I use the e.l.f. brow pencil. This one is in the shade Neutral Brown. And I just kind of line at the bottom all the way around, and then I do the same thing at the top, and then I fill it in. And I accidentally plucked them a little bit too thin last time. I would prefer them to be a little bit fluffier, but I got carried away with the tweezers. And I just fluffed them out with the spoolie that's attached on the other end. Then I used the e.l.f. tinted brow gel in the shade Dark Brown to kind of fill them in. I was using a different brow gel first, and it was the Iconic London one to make them fluffier, but since I accidentally took half my brows off, I just need this tinted one. Here's with the gel and without. Here lately, I haven't been doing any eyeshadow. I've just been using this ColourPop brown gel liner, and it is the easiest thing to use. It's waterproof, it's a twist up, and I just do a little wing on the end. I start out at the bottom to try to create the wing. I feel like that has made it easier for me to get my line straight on either side than starting at the top. I couldn't do it on camera, but I kind of came over. I don't go all the way in. I just kind of stop right here and do a very thin line, or as thin as you can get it with a gel liner. Eyeliner done. I wear this to the gym. It literally doesn't budge. And then for mascara, I've been using this Tarte Lights Lashes and Cameras. It's pretty good. I do curl my lashes first. Mascara's on. I don't wear false lashes because I simply just don't have the patience. But I do wear lip liner every day, and this is my like go-to. It's the NYX Nude Truffle Liner, and these are like $4 and so creamy. It's like the perfect brown liner, and I slightly overline, but not very much. I'm not a big lipstick girl, but I do love a good gloss, and this one is the Fenty Fussy Heat, and I've been loving this one. It doesn't have much color, but it's so glossy and it stays on a really long time. I also like the Maybelline Lifter Gloss for a more affordable option. For setting spray, I use the Morphe. And here's the final look. Hope you guys have the best day.